tough guy Mike Tyson comes out when it's not necessary to come out, I'm always in handcuffs. And it's unfortunately I have to fight and be that guy. I wish I could stop that guy. That guy haunts me.
Mike Tyson just unleashed a brutal smackdown on Jake Paul, and this is a moment you won't forget. No, I'm not talking about their usual pre-fight drama, which has been dragging on for ages. At this point, most people have tuned out of the Tyson vs. Jake saga. The hype has fizzled, especially with the constant delays, Jake's wild accusations of bribery, steroid use, and even rumors of cancelling the fight altogether. Honestly, how long can this circus keep going before it collapses? But wait, something crazy just happened. Mike Tyson, the legend himself, has had enough of Jake Paul's antics. Let's be real, Jake's daily drama is exhausting. It's like he wakes up wondering how to be more obnoxious. Yet, no matter what, Jake isn't on Tyson's level. Sometimes I think, Tyson, you've got nothing left to prove. Focus on your health and ignore this YouTuber's endless noise. But Tyson just snapped. And now, this rivalry has reached a whole new level. Imagine someone challenging your skills, dignity, and experience. You'd want to set the record straight too, right? Tyson isn't the kind of guy to sit back while Jake Paul pulls his usual stunts. Remember, Jake begged for this fight, and now he's wading into the waters of strategic cheating. Classic Jake. Now, let's rewind to the Mike Tyson we all knew, a beast in the ring, crushing opponents and taking names. He retired after his 2005 fight with Kevin McBride, but it wasn't the iconic mic drop we expected. Tyson was 38, not quite the force he once was, but still, a legend no one could forget. Let's face it, Tyson's ferocity had dimmed, and his final fight wasn't the grand finale envisioned for such a legend. But even icons need a break. After a legacy filled with epic victories and controversies, Iron Mike was ready to step back. Who could blame him? Fast forward to 2020, and Tyson dusted off those legendary gloves for a charity exhibition match against Roy Jones Jr. Joe Rogan, however, wasn't sold, suggesting it might have been, well, staged. But even at 55, Tyson's moves brought back serious nostalgia. Watching him in the ring again reminded us why he's still one of the greatest of all time. Watching Tyson in the ring again reminded us why we fell in love with boxing. Then, of course, there's everyone's favorite Jake Paul. Okay.
Fight, they made an agreement not to punch in the head. I'm pretty sure. Because I watched that fight carefully, many times, and it never looked like he was targeting Roy's head. Which makes sense why Roy agreed to do the fight.
You know, that was a pun. Jake's been making waves, but not because he's knocking out pro boxers. No, he's punching his way through internet fame, trash talking like it's his job. His journey from YouTube star to boxer has been a wild, controversial ride. His victories? Mostly against fellow influencers or retired athletes, which makes him more controversial than credible. But you have to admit he's entertaining to watch. And how does Jake handle the constant accusations swirling around him? Like water off a duck's back. He deflects, brushes it off, and acts like none of it even phases him. Classic Jake Paul. You might wonder, if Mike Tyson knew Jake Paul's reputation was less than stellar, why step into the ring with him? Well, Tyson's decision wasn't just about proving he could still take on a younger fighter. This was about reminding everyone what real boxing is: pure skill.
We're living in. That's what I'm saying. It sucks. It's so bad.
Misinformation and disinformation on the internet right now is rampant.
Because nobody has the intellect to be able to form opinion.
Not YouTube hype or drama. Tyson wanted to show that boxing is still a true sport, not just a stage for internet clout. Meanwhile, Jake Paul's hype machine was in overdrive, as usual. He really knows how to make wild claims, doesn't he? But calling himself the future of boxing. Now that's a stretch even for Jake. Jake Paul declaring he's going to retire the legendary Iron Mike Tyson for good? That's like a toddler walking up to a battle-hardened superhero, waving a stick, and declaring war. You could almost hear the collective eye roll from the entire boxing community. The skepticism was real. Some were chuckling, others shaking their heads, and the rest were grabbing popcorn, waiting to see if Jake could actually back up his big talk, or if this was just another chapter of Jake Paul, internet trash talker. You've got to hand it to the guy, his confidence is something else, even if it's completely misplaced. But now, this wasn't just about Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. The spotlight had shifted to the integrity of the sport itself. Jake's reputation? It took a major nosedive. The guy who was riding high on his controversial rise in boxing now had a massive question mark hanging over his head. Jake, who's never missed an opportunity to stir the pot, was now at a crossroads with a lot to prove. Jake, always quick to run his mouth, suddenly found himself backpedaling. He tried to brush off Tyson's accusations, calling them baseless and pulling the classic "I'm the victim" card. But it was too late, the damage was done. Tyson's words carried far more weight than Jake's weak protests, and the boxing world wasn't rushing to defend him. Instead, people began looking at Jake sideways, wondering if all that muscle and stamina had a little extra help. Look, steroids and performance-enhancing drugs aren't exactly shocking news today, but let's be real for a second. Imagine busting your tail in the gym day in and day out, only to have someone question the integrity of your hard work. You're sweating buckets, doing it the hard way, the old-school way. No shortcuts, no performance-enhancing tricks. Then you find out your opponent's been juicing. It's like you're playing fair, and they've got cheat codes. It's not just frustrating, it's infuriating. One of the wildest moments in this whole circus came when Tyson appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast on July 28, 2024. Tyson, being his usual candid self, didn't hold back. He spilled the beans and then some. The biggest bombshell? Tyson admitted to using DMT. Yep, you heard that right, as part of his training regimen. For those unfamiliar, DMT isn't exactly your typical pre-workout supplement, making Tyson's revelation all the more shocking. No, DMT isn't your typical supplement, it's a psychedelic. And when I say psychedelic, I mean the kind that'll have you seeing galaxies, hearing colors, and questioning the meaning of life. But Tyson didn't turn to DMT for a quick boost in the ring. It was about something much deeper. He wanted to reconnect with himself, drop the mental
I did this toad, this DMT stuff,
Right.
and I lost that
baggage, and as he put it, lose the weight. Tyson literally said, I did this toad, this DMT stuff, right? And I just lost that weight. Yep, he's talking about the venom from the Colorado River toad. Tyson's out here using nature's psychedelic therapy to get his mind and body back in peak condition. This isn't some fitness gimmick. This is Tyson on a spiritual journey, shedding mental cobwebs in a way that would probably make your yoga teacher jealous. Meanwhile, Jake Paul? He's over there with his alleged shortcuts, pumping up with who knows what. It's like Tyson's on a natural high while Jake's stuck in the world of synthetic boosts, and in classic Tyson fashion, he didn't sugarcoat anything. That's Mike for you, honest, quirky, and unapologetically himself. Totally unfiltered, Tyson's out here talking about toads and psychedelic enlightenment, all while still managing to scare the living daylights out of anyone thinking about stepping into the ring with him. His whole approach was about holistic improvement, mental clarity, physical readiness, all through natural means. He's got that old-school warrior mindset, no cheats, no
I just don't know what happened. I just said, I'm going to do this.
shortcuts, just raw, unfiltered preparation. On the other side? Jake Paul, now under a steroid-shaped cloud. This wasn't just a clash of boxing styles, it was a full-on clash of ethics. Tyson was all about clean, natural prep, while Jake was scrambling to shake off some very shady allegations. So how did Jake Paul respond to all this? Well, as you can guess, he went into full defensive mode. He jumped on social media, calling the accusations a smear campaign and painting himself as the underdog unfairly targeted by a legend. He claimed, I'm just out here working hard, trying to make my mark, and Tyson's out here trying to sabotage me, and yes, he even cried about it, adding drama to an already explosive situation.